What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my betting breakdown video for UFC Vegas 49. We have Bobby Green going against Islam Makhachev.
I need all the wins, yeah. Harder than all that is. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
And we are back for another betting breakdown video. As always, going to be breaking down these fights from a betting perspective and a betting perspective only. If you do want a further, more in-depth breakdown on why I like which fight, why I'm betting which fighter, check out the full card breakdown predictions that were posted on Monday, and then also did a live stream going through it all on Friday as well. I'll be going live 1 hour prior to the prelims, me, Uncle Weezy, Narco Cop, for best bet for this card as well, talking all the best bets throughout the card 1 hour prior to the prelim starting, so go check that out as well. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, so you not miss out on all the other content throughout the week as well. Very sketchy card in my opinion, a card that I'm keeping, kind of light. I don't want to be overly exposed to a card like this because guess what? Next week we have a phenomenal card. We have Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal. So I'm kind of, saving a little bit of ammo here on a card like this where, a lot of these fights, really sketch me out. We'll talk about some of them. And I do have 6 bets on this card. So we'll talk about those. We'll talk about all of my favorite bets, all my spots that I'm looking at. And should be a fun card though. I mean, some good fights. Makhachev Green's obviously great main event. Serkinov Turman, I'm not sure why that's the co-main event, but it's there. I think Sarukian Alvarez, one of the best fights on the card. Rodriguez Petrosian's going to be fun, and Zion McKenney is going to be fun as well. So there are some good fights, but I say we get into it, and let's start with the very first fight of the night. We have Carlos Hernandez going against Victor Altamirano. Hernandez actually opened up as a plus 130 dog. He's now minus 140. I would not have minded that plus 130 there, but the line's kind of getting away a little bit. I do lean Hernandez, but ever so slightly. It's just Altamirano's takedown defense is a huge liability in my opinion, and although Hernandez doesn't have the best offensive wrestling, I think that Altamirano's takedown defense is so bad that I think Hernandez could actually get him down here. It looks like Altamirano just kind of accepts the takedowns. I feel like Hernandez, if he gets on top, it does look very good. He was able to get on top a little bit on the Contender Series. I've watched a fight outside of the UFC where his ground game did look really good. So, yeah, I think on the feet it's close, it's competitive, but I just think Hernandez mixing in the takedowns here, winning minutes on the ground, but this should be a very close fight. I like Hernandez here. I like Hernandez to win by decision, which is plus 165. I also saw the fight goes to decision. I think it was on DraftKings Sportsbook earlier in the week at minus 150. I did not hate that. But I think Hernandez gets it done. But no bet for me on this very first fight of the night, but I will pick Hernandez. Next we have Brahmaj Gilmore going against Michael Gilmore. Hesitantly, I do have 2 bets on this fight, and this is one of those sketchy fights that I talked about. Very sketchy fight here, Brahmaj Gilmore. The reason why it's sketchy is you can't trust Brahmaj. Brahmaj has about a round of cardio. He has 8 of his 9 wins in the first round. 8 of his 9 wins by first round submission. He does have a win early in the second round as well. This is a guy that when he goes to that second round, he has 1-4 in his fight. So, it's simple as this. Brahmaj should go out here and he should submit Michael Gilmore in the very first round. If he doesn't, it's going to get very sketchy very fast, especially considering that Brahmaj is coming in here on short notice. But I did take 2 shots. The first one being the under 2.5 rounds. I got it at minus 135, and I have 1 unit on that. I thought that line was off. I probably should have went heavier on it. The reason why I think that's off is because you have Brahmaj, who is minus 400 on some books. He's never won a fight in the third round. He's never won a fight by decision. He's never won a fight over 1.5 rounds. He's won 8 of his 9 wins in the first round. Why is the under 2.5 rounds only minus 135? It just did not make sense. So I got on that, and then I was also waiting for the books to get out, a first round prop, a first round submission prop, something like that, but the bookies are all over it. I think the best price you can get on like a Brahmaj first round sub is like plus 185, which is not something I'm overly interested in, but I did see a prop that did stick out on Bovada. I think FanDuel and DraftKings also have it, but Brahmaj to win in either round 1 or round 2 at plus 100, and I put half a unit on that, and I think that's off because, again, he's a minus 400 favorite. He's literally never won in round 3 or decision. He's literally never won over the 1.5 round mark. So getting him to win in either round 1 or round 2 at plus money when he's a minus 400 favorite, it's just nuts to me. But you can't be overly confident in a guy like this. He's shown poor fight IQ. He's shown poor cardio. He's coming in on short notice, but he should absolutely come out here and take down Michael Gilmore within the first 20 seconds and submit him. But again, another sketchy fight. And if you are, doing some live betting opportunity, if this fight does get to the second round, I'd be looking close at Michael Gilmore. But Brahmaj should submit him early. Next fight, we have Jonathan Martinez going against Alejandra Perez. This is my biggest bet of the night on a card where I don't have a ton of bets. I have 2.5 units on Jonathan Martinez minus 230. I think it's a really tough matchup for Alejandra Perez, who, I really did not like how he looked in his last fight against 50-year-old Johnny Eduardo. He took a 2-year layoff, coming off of 2 losses in a row. He came back. He just looked off. He looked very off. He looked kind of washed, which is weird to say because the dude's only like 33, but he did. He was doing like this weird movement. He wasn't throwing anything, and he actually dropped the first round to Johnny Eduardo. Eduardo outlanded him almost 2-1 in that first round, and even in the second round, Eduardo was winning up until Perez took him down late in the second round and submitted him. But Eduardo was winning that entire fight up until then. Not a good look. I mean, if he's struggling with Eduardo on the feet, what's it going to look like against Martinez, who is training at a good camp? He's young. He's improving. Each time we see him, he gets much better. He has a ton of tools on the feet. He has the more volume. He's just a much better striker. And if Perez does not get this fight down to the mat, I think it's going to be a rough night. Perez, he's a good grappler. I think his grappling is really good. He showed it off in his last fight against Eduardo. But you take a look at Perez, he has like only 6 or 7 takedowns in his entire career. He's somebody that doesn't wrestle as much as he should. Only like a 20% takedown accuracy. So even when he's trying to go for takedowns, which he doesn't do enough of, he's not really getting them. And Martinez has a very good takedown defense, a very good get-up game, and a very underrated grappling game as well. So, I like Martinez here. I think the line should be wider, and it looks like it is trending that way. But I have 2.5 units on Martinez, minus 230. Looks like he's around minus 250, minus 260. I see a book like minus 290. I think Martinez is worth the play here. Just don't like what I see from Perez. Moving on, we have Faraz Ziam, Terence Mckenney. I do have another bet on this fight. Most of my action is coming in on these prelims, but I have 2 units on the under 2.5 rounds, minus 125. This fight was booked a couple months ago. I did have the same bet, but I did get the under 2.5 at minus 135 a couple months back, so I'm getting a little bit of a better price here. And the reason why I like the under 2.5 so much is I love targeting spots like this, where you have a guy like Terence Mckenney, right? This guy is a killer-be-killed fighter. When he's winning inside the distance. When he's losing inside the distance. Terence Mckenney in 14 fights has never seen the scorecards. Terence Mckenney in 14 fights has never been over 2.5 rounds. Terence Mckenney in 14 fights has only seen the third round once. This is a guy that when he's winning early on. When he's losing, he's losing some early on, but more specifically that Sean Woodson fight where he was looking really good early. He was able to take down, control Woodson, and it looked like he slowed down. Looked like his cardio kind of fell off a cliff, because he was going out there wrestling and doing a lot of it. And, Woodson was able to knock him out in that second round. And I think it's a situation where it's either Terence Mckenney early, which I am on the Mckenney side. I do like him to win. I think he can either pressure Ziam, make him uncomfortable, knock him out on the feet, or I think, take him down. Mckenney wrestled in high school, college, great wrestler, underrated submission game. He actually has more submissions than knockouts, believe it or not. So yeah, I think, which is crazy because they have the Mckenney sub prop at like plus 750, which is weird. Yeah, because 55% of his wins coming by submission, 45% by knockout. And Ziam's been submitted twice. So yeah, that submission prop kind of does stick out. Mckenney's submission round 1 kind of sticks out. I think that's his easiest path to victory. But as we see, this guy can hit hard as well. So yeah, I like Mckenney to win. I like Mckenney to win early on, but if not, I think he slows down. I think Ziam finishes him late. Ziam is a finisher in his own right. He has not shown it in the UFC, but he's finished 9 out of his 12 wins, the majority of those coming by knockout. And again, when you have somebody that's a killer-be-killed fighter like Terence Mckenney, when he wins inside the distance, when he loses inside the distance, I think Ziam could finish him if Mckenney does slow down. So yeah, 2 units under 2.5 rounds. I might sprinkle the third round prop just to cover myself a little bit because last week kind of the same thing happened. I had Hellinger under 2.5 rounds, and Hellinger decided to start fighting with like a minute left in the third round and finished him there. And I was actually debating on putting a Hellinger third round prop there at plus 1K. So I might do that here, but 2 units under 2.5 rounds, minus 125. I'll say Mckenney gets him out of there early, but I think Ziam's definitely live for a late finish. Josie on Nunez, Ramona Pascual. I don't want to talk about this fight too much. This fight's extremely sketchy. People are very confident in Nunez, which is weird because she's only a minus 200 favorite. There's just so many unknowns, not only on the Pascual side especially, but on the Nunez side as well. Pascual, there's not a ton of footage available of her. I did go back and watch a fight from like 4 or 5 years ago. She looked very bad, but she has moved to Syndicate MMA. She has looked better in her last couple fights. It's just she's fighting like the bottom of the barrel in terms of competition. So I don't really know how good Pascual is. This fight is at 145 pounds, which is nuts considering Nunez is supposedly 5'2". She looks shorter than that, but 5'2", 145 pounds. Anything would not surprise me in this fight at all. I'm going to pick Nunez, but I literally have no confidence in it. And, of course, you're looking at those violence props. You're looking at the fight doesn't go the under 2.5, which it actually set the over-under at 1.5, and it's just unbettable for me. Laying minus 180 on a fight, on a women's fight like this, I'm not doing that. And I get it. I get why it's juiced like this, but I was hoping to get closer to plus money. But, yeah, Nunez, her only loss by decision was against Tyler Santos, and Pascual has been finishing both their losses. I will say Nunez finishes Pascual, but this is probably the sketchiest fight on the entire card, and there's a couple of them. Moving on, Ignacio Bahamondes, Rong Zhu. No bet on this one as well. I do like the Bahamondes side. Rong Zhu did miss weight by a decent amount, and then he also dyed his hair pink as well. I like Bahamondes. I like his striking. I like his output. He has a lot of tools on the feet. He mixes it up very well to the body especially. I mean, he hurt Roosevelt Roberts to the body multiple times in his last fight. I just think that if Rong Zhu can't get this fight down to the mat, he's going to be in big trouble. And he could. Bahamondes, his takedown defense in the past has not looked great, but my goodness, his takedown defense looked a lot better, much improved in the Roosevelt Roberts fight. I think we get that same takedown defense. He was doing all the right things. He showed incredible balance. He's very long, very rangy, very hard to take down. So if Rong Zhu can't get him down, I think it's going to be a solid win for Bahamondes, probably by decision. The fight goes to decision. I think it's around like minus 120. I don't hate it, I guess. Both guys in like a big samples. I want to say like they have like over 40 fights combined. Neither guy's ever been knocked out. When they are losing, it is by submission, and neither guy's getting a submission here. So Bahamondes by decision, plus 170. I don't hate it. I don't hate the fight doesn't go, but I don't have a bet on this fight. Bahamondes minus 200. I don't hate it, especially after seeing Rong Zhu at the weigh-ins. It did not look the best, but I'm going to probably pass here for the most part. Gregory Rodriguez, Armen Petrosyan, and this has, violence written all over it. The problem is, you got the fight doesn't go to decision at minus 350. What are you going to do with that? You have the under 2.5 rounds at minus 280, minus 290. What are you going to do with that? I mean, the bookies are all over this one. If anything, you got to probably play the under 1.5, which even then is juiced to like minus 150. And even like the fight won't start round 2, which that's plus money, but it's going to be a pass for me. I mean, they're all over. If you're doing a parlay, I think fight doesn't go to decision in this fight is probably a pretty solid parlay piece, but I'm not doing a parlay this week. Somebody's getting finished here. I think it's Rodriguez, first round sub. Petrosyan's takedown defense is horrendous. It's a huge liability. Rodriguez legit black belt in BJJ. I think the sub's very live. If not, if this is at range for any point in time, Petrosyan is no joke on the feet. I think he's live for a knockout. I guess if I had to bet something on this fight, it would be the under 1.5, but I really don't like under 1.5s unless it's like an Antigulov fight or like a Paul Craig fight, like a Jordan Wright fight. Like I really want to pick my fights in terms of these over under 1.5, or under 1.5. So I'm gonna pass on this one, but if you like parlays, I know a lot of people do. I think the parlay piece of the week probably is the Petrosyan Rodriguez fight doesn't go to decision. I'd be shocked if it went the distance. All right, moving on, we have Arman Tsarukyan and Joel Alvarez. This is like the most highly debated fight of the week. A lot of people have strong leans on one side or another, and it's a weird fight. I thought that I would be on an island. I thought this was a hot take. Picking Joel Alvarez this week, I thought it was a shot in the dark, but no, people are very heavy on Alvarez this week, and I picked him on Stat Diggers on Pub Sports Radio Sunday, and he was like plus 250. I wake up the next day, he's like plus 190. So money poured in on Alvarez, and I think that Tsarukyan should absolutely be the favorite. Did I think he should have been like minus 350? No, but I think this line is about more accurate. I think Tsarukyan around minus 200, minus 225 is about right. So am I tempted on the Alvarez money line here? Absolutely not. Was I tempted at plus 250? Kinda. But there was another way I did want to play this fight that I thought was pretty sneaky. The way I am playing this fight is going to be Joel Alvarez scorecards equals no action, which is the same as finish only. And I got that at plus 150, and I have 1 unit on that. So especially now, like Alvarez money line is around plus 180, plus 190. The finish only at plus 150. The reason why I like that finish only is Alvarez is a finisher. He's not going to win a decision. He's probably not going to win many minutes in this fight as well. He's a finisher. The majority of his wins coming by submission. He's very dangerous anywhere the fight goes. We saw on the feet last time. He's very dangerous, hits very hard. Sarukian has been knocked out once. A 100% finish rate for Alvarez, where Sarukian, around like a 60% finish rate, has shown only 1 finish thus far in the UFC. I think if there's a finish, it's more than likely going to be from the Alvarez side. I'm going to be honest and say that I think the most likely path to victory, or the most likely scenario for this fight, is an Arman Sarukian decision, which is plus 165. But finish only, scorecards equals no action. Joel Alvarez, give me the guy with a 100% finish rate, and give me him at plus 150. So if you guys don't know, scorecards equals no action or finish only means that if this fight goes to decision, the bet is completely voided. If Sarukian wins inside the distance, the bet loses. And if Alvarez wins inside the distance, the bet wins. So again, I think the most likely scenario is this does go to decision with Sarukian winning it. It's just Alvarez is going to have many opportunities to finish. So yeah, give me that finish only. Wouldn't touch the money line here. Didn't hate it at plus 250, but give me that finish only there. If you are on Sarukian, I think decision plus 165 is probably the way to go. Jin Young Kim, Priscilla Cachoeira. I don't know. I mean, Kim has the better strike and defense, sitting around 56%, whereas Cachoeira has a 40% strike and defense. Cachoeira is getting outlanded by her opponents by over 3 significant strikes per minute. I mean, she has some of the worst striking numbers you'll ever see in the UFC. They call her Priscilla Catch a Beating for a reason. She has no striking defense. She comes forward, and she's completely content with getting hit in the face and getting hit a lot. Kim, she's going to have a 7-inch reach advantage. She's going to be throwing more volume. She lands over 5 strikes per minute. I think every time Kim throws, she's probably going to land. It's just another sketchy fight that's probably going to play out close. It's probably going to be very greasy. If you like Cachoeira, maybe the knockout prop at plus 450 could be something to look at, but Kim does seem to actually have a very good chin. Another stay-away fight, another sketchy fight. I'm going to pick Kim, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in this one? I'm going to root for Cachoeira. I do like her. I do like breaking down her fights. I do like the nicknames, Catch a Beating, Catch a Cheating. But it's hard to pick Catch a Beating when she has like a 40% strike in defense. She eats punches with her face. But Kim's not that much better, so I'll take Kim, but you couldn't pay me to bet on a fight like this. Co-main event, Misha Cirkunov, Wellington Turman. I'm tempted on Cirkunov here. But these fights have tended to, kind of bite me in the past. It's a greasy fight, another greasy, sketchy fight, and we have a couple of those on this card. I think the move is just to stay away. Cirkunov, 34 years old. He looked good at the weigh-ins. He's gonna have a height and reach advantage, a much bigger fighter. It's just I do have some question marks. How good is Wellington Turman's takedown defense on paper? 100%, but nobody's really tried to take him down. If this fight does stay standing, it's gonna be very greasy. Very sketchy, but I kind of feel like Cirkunov could get Turman down, and if he does get him down, I feel like he could finish him, but I don't know. I think the move's just to pass here. Cirkunov minus 115, Turman minus 105. I like Cirkunov, but I'm not going to bet this one. Sketchy fight. I think the best move is to stay away. Like, even the fight doesn't go to decision. It's not intriguing enough. I can see a greasy decision. So another greasy fight. I'll pick Cirkunov, but probably shouldn't be betting it, and I think I'm going to pass on this one. And then we have the main event. We have Islam Makhachev going against Bobby Green, and I do have a bet on this one as well. I have Islam Makhachev to win by submission, my bad. Submission, plus 110, and I have half a unit on that, and I think that line's pretty off. Makhachev is minus 1,000 on some books. I just don't see Bobby Green lasting 25 minutes. I really don't even see Bobby Green lasting really 15 minutes. And Islam Makhachev's not like a ground and pound guy. He's not like a knockout guy on the feet for the most part. If he's going to win inside the distance, it's probably going to be by sub. And I've heard people talk about Islam submission decision, which is like minus 280, which is, again, better than the minus 1,000 he's at. Not a ton invested in this fight, but Makhachev by sub. The dude's minus 1,000. Give me the plus 110 on the sub prop there. It's now around minus 120. I saw minus 110, which is pretty solid as well. So, yeah, give me Makhachev to submit Bobby Green. A lot of people on the Bobby Green side this week. A lot of people taking the shot. I will not be one of those people, but, best of luck. That's a big dog hit if it does hit, but I will not be one of those people at all. So give me Makhachev to win by submission. A lot of people are on that over 1.5. I think it could go over, but it's not something I'm running to the window for, especially considering I think it's like juiced now. So Makhachev by submission for me is the only thing I'd really look at. Not throwing any money at Bobby Green or any of his props. Not looking at any of the totals. I think this fight does end inside the distance, but minus 325 is not good enough for me. But I will take Makhachev to win by submission, and that will be the bet, half a unit plus 110. So, as you guys can see, it's definitely a light card for me. It's a sketchy card. We talked about how sketchy some of these fights are, and I want to save some ammo for next week. Next week's a big week, big card. Probably much better spots as well. So my biggest bet of the night, Jonathan Martinez, 2.5 units minus 230. Second biggest bet of the night, Zion Mckenney under 2.5 rounds, 2 units minus 125. Brahmaj Gilmore under 2.5 rounds, 1 unit minus 135. Half a unit on Brahmaj to win in either round 1 or round 2 plus 100. Half a unit on Makhachev by submission plus 110. And then the Joel Alvarez scorecards equals no action. Same thing as the finish only, 1 unit, plus 150, 6 bets. Pretty light card, pretty sketchy card, but it should be a pretty fun card. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on all the other content. Tune into the live stream, fight day, 1 hour prior to the prelim starting, where we talk our best bets. Me, Narco Weezy. Eric will not be there this week, but we'll be back next week. And then cannot wait to start looking into the next card. Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal. That card is phenomenal, especially compared to this card in the last. Next week's card is phenomenal. So don't go all in on a card like this. Don't put all your money on Priscilla Cachobeating. I don't recommend that. Don't put your money on Danielle Kim. Don't bet Josie Nunez. Don't bet Ramona Pascual. Be careful. Be careful. Some sketchy spots. But let's make some money. Let's try to make some money on this card. Best of luck, guys. We'll talk to you very soon. See you.